Hi everyone, welcome again on our channel. In today's video I wanted to remind quickly everyone what does really mean to progress on this journey as a spiritual being, working towards union, inner union, which then manifests externally by harmonized life, but also by harmonized connections, including your twin flame counterpart. So, reminder for everyone that we consist of layers or bodies. We do have our mental layer, we do have our emotional layer, energetic layer, physical layer. All of those are distinct, but at the same time they want to be harmonized and they want to flow together. And the whole spiritual journey really is a journey of coming back to your wholeness, almost like gathering pieces that were lost on the way, forgotten, and rebuilding those parts in order to feel more comfortable within yourself and in order to feel more like your true authentic self. And the steps of this process is literally rebuilding all of those layers or bodies. Now, where does it fit within the twin flame experience? You as a twin flame, you will have your homework to rebuild each of those layers, not really looking outside what your counterpart is representing, what are your counterpart states or condition of each of the layer. So without really looking externally, what happens in your connection, relationship, whatever phase you find yourself in, your goal is always make sure that those different bodies talk to each other and are working towards unifying itself. And by unifying, I mean perfecting, almost like feeling that you have each of those layers in a relatively stable state, ready to tackle all the challenges that are on the way, not feeling that your energy leaks through any of those bodies, that you feel like there is something that is not addressed, something that is beyond your control, that you don't have enough power to take control of those layers. So maybe operating from the examples will be easier. When we first see, let's say, physical layer or material layer, in that layer we'll have everything that correlates to our physicality, meaning physical health, how we present ourselves to the world, including your self-care, including your material possessions even. So physical layer will be also expressed by your financial stability, financial situation, everything that really correlates with your body, being your physical body, presenting yourself, but also feeling comfortable within this 3D world. So this is one of the most tangible layers. So this is very difficult to overlook. And at the same time, many people within this journey, they sometimes seem to be forgetting about this layer. They think that spirituality will be resolving all the issues and everything will be solved by so-called law of attraction. And without really hustling, we can achieve something here. So I'm not saying that we have to suffer and push through all the time, but this sense of having control or maybe responsibility of a physical plane needs to be in place. So you need to remember to take care of your body. You need to remember to take care of your finances. This is a very boring subject, I know, within the life, but all of those things, they need to give you the sense that things are in your hands. Of course, through the universe support, but you're not giving away your power on that plane. The next layer would be emotional layer. And how do we perfect that layer? We do look into our emotional states. We do research ourselves to understand ourselves better, our emotional triggers, our responses. When are we losing control emotionally? Where do we feel like emotions are taking control over our actions? So maybe navigating your journey through too much emotional responses will be leading you through unnecessary turmoils from time to time. So, of course, emotions are our signposts and they are beautiful and they are necessary, but we need to remember that they are for us. They are not meant to control us and control our reactions. They are rather useful tools that can help us if something is resonating with us or not. How do we feel about certain situations or people or anything really that happens in our life? So, at the same time, emotional body helps us to connect with others. So within this layer, our big responsibility will be to take care about being able to access our emotional body in the most mature way possible. We need to be comfortable expressing our emotions, but also recognizing, naming them, because that's the proper exchange that we're going to be doing with each other. We need to be able to express what our emotional body tries to tell us. And we want to first understand it for ourselves, but then we want to share that with others. Because unspoken emotions will be creating tensions between your partner, between your friends, soul connections, anyone really who comes into contact with you. And we are not here to read each other's minds. It's very useful to be able to take control over your emotional responses, but also about this take control of your readiness to be able to connect to your emotional body and express it, share it with other person, to be able to contact with each other heart to heart, really through this authenticity. This is a skill. This is something that you are developing as you get to know yourself better. And first, of course, accepting the emotional layer, because there might be people who are rejecting emotions so deeply that they maybe were navigating their whole life without actually being in touch with their emotional body because it was too much pain. So if you find yourself in this situation, this layer will really need a little bit more gentle care and development on your side, because that's this layer you cannot really progress further if you're not able to connect with your heart first, and then we can talk about heart-to-heart connections with others. The next layer would be the mental layer. So of course, this is our mental capacity, the way how we understand the journey, how we understand our experiences here. Big challenge here, I think, especially talking about the spirituality, is to making sure that what our mental body is projecting for us, it's actually anchored in reality. So this is the whole world of illusions or assumptions, wishful thinking, and thinking that something is true without really having anchor in reality. And this is a little bit different than this deep-seated inner knowing that we have on our journey. I think in time you're able to recognize when your mental body is overactive, underactive, or getting into confusion state. So mental body will be very useful for you, especially in parts of the journey that you need to face reality. You need to grasp the concepts as they are, that you need to make logical sense of those experiences. And I cannot express that enough, that your mental body is a very useful tool in this journey. And it has to be, and it's able to correlate and coexist within your spiritual body, and so energetic body as well. There is no bodies that are more important than others, even though we refer to each other as spiritual beings. Mental, emotional states are equally important. And of course, we are preparing ourselves, working our mental body. We need to be strong enough to be able to expand further. Because right now we're starting our twin flame experience from this very singular timeline, very easy understanding of the twin flame energy and twin flame concept, that you have two people that are building some sort of a connection here on earth, or maybe that's the template that we want to have. But this is only your single timeline that you're experiencing in the very beginning stages. Later on, if you decide to continue on your spiritual journey, things will be getting more and more tricky. And you may find yourself in the situations that you're experiencing situations from the timelines that they don't really feel like they're matching your true reality, but you know that energetically you're revisiting those timelines. So this is just example of how things get trickier, and our best bet in this situation is prepare ourselves mentally to be able to face those challenges, because in the end your mind will be telling yourself that you are going maybe a little bit too far based on your current development, that you should prepare yourself better. Now it's time to withdraw a little bit, not to grasp those concepts right away, because we may get lost in those different worlds and different dimensions, and in the end we are being expressed here on earth. So mental body is a very nice, in addition to our physical body, very nice anchor of this very beautiful, mystical and multidimensional experience, but here on a 3D plane. And one last thing with regards to mental body, why do we care for it? When we are connecting with each other on a mental level, that means that we're going to be sharing our belief systems and our understandings about the journey and the whole life that we live in. And this is a very beautiful to have someone who seems to be getting you on this level. But in order to be able to recognize what is your inner truth, you need to give it a little bit of thought, and you need to put those beliefs in the right order. You need to kind of grasp the concept, how everything is organized, without being challenged by other people's beliefs. So the self-worth and being able to have this inner sense of inner logic will be very useful to even form your sense of self, sense of identity, how you want to engage in the world moving forward. And the last layer I wanted to share was this energetic layer. And how do we care about our energetic or spiritual layer? Of course, by being more receptive towards the higher energies, towards those subtle energies. And I think it's really good practice just to sit with yourself and be open, be flexible enough to, from time to time, really shut down any belief systems that you have and allow things to unfold naturally and allow new things to be presented to you, to actually stretch your mind. So yes, mental body will be stretched from time to time, but it will be adaptable. All of those layers are coexisting with each other, and they can flow together nicely. Of course, maybe in different pace, but they can coexist. So energetic / spiritual layer will be responsible for actually our spiritual evolution, and will be allowing us to grasp more and more complex and broader concepts, including how you understand your twin flame experience here. So I always say that you can only manifest what you put in your consciousness. So that's where we are working with our consciousness, through energetic and spiritual layer. It will be allowing you to expand and get out of your current understandings, to be able to manifest things that maybe not even exist in a collective consciousness. And you will be one of the first one to experience maybe twin flame experience from this new paradigm. So it also comes with its own hygiene. So meditation and cleaning, just making sure that things that are coming to you are coming from like a pure source, that you are also not programming anything in that. Like, you want to have the channel as pure as possible, because that's the best way to discover the truth and then share it with others. So you see, those are those multiple layers. And here I wanted to remind everyone the situation from this old paradigm that happens currently, that people still have tendencies to assign almost like divisions or roles, meaning we are assuming that someone maybe more anchored in a 3D world and really rejects spirituality. And we really like to call those people as twin flame, divine masculine counterparts. And if people have tendencies to be more anchored in spirituality, we're gonna be labeling ourselves as divine feminines. While if you really look closely, it only reflects where you're putting your most effort in your current journey. So I mentioned about homeworks. If you're seeing that you do have very strong contact with energetic world, but at the same time you feel like you don't belong here on earth, or it's not comfortable, you feel like it's stagnant, know that you can work on that, and know that those energies that you're tapping into so strongly, they are here to help you to anchor down in a 3D, and they will be very supportive once you decide to put that layer in the right order. It takes a switch from thinking that any of these layers is too difficult to address or too uncomfortable, too painful to address. And it, of course, it is uncomfortable, and sometimes it does feel overwhelming when you are about to take the first step, but it is worth it. And at the same time, it gives you the opportunity to become a friend with that layer that you originally rejected. And the same way, if you feel that either your counterpart, let's assume that your counterpart feels like, oh, he's or she is more like divine masculine, they are so logical, so anchored in reality, they are rejecting your spirituality, they are yet to be awake. That's okay. You have to give everyone the chance to reach how much they can reach and explore their own layers in its own time. But assuming that you will be filling the gaps of some sort, that someone doesn't have emotional layer open up, let's say, and you're gonna be more emotional in that connection, or someone is too much practical and you're gonna be more spiritual and help to guide this connection further, it will not go very far. The real progress happens when both people will be having equal interest in developing all of those layers equally. There is no preference, really. If you're in a spiritual journey, you will feel more and more when any of these layers will be needing attention and tweak. And again, reminder for everyone, we do have support on the way, because the more balanced you are within all of those layers, the more balance you will be feeling within. So more anchored here you will be, but at the same time you will be able to anchor more energies through your own field. Hopefully this is a good reminder for those who are still wondering if they are doing the right thing. Please share with me, which layer do you think you have the most troubles with? I'm gonna be trying to provide even more tools. I'm also curious, what is the main area of challenge in this community that we are building here? So it's very interesting to see yourself as a first individual being, and B, this complex being that has multiple layers that can be dissected, actually, to be able to take control one by one without overwhelm, but also see it more clear and give yourself a chance to unify all of those. And then that's how you go into your connections and start rebuilding that. But just remember, if some layer is missing in some of us, we cannot really help with that. Like we are responsible for our own being, and that's your only thing to do here, really, and accept what's gonna be coming towards you as a result of that. So thanks everyone for listening, and see you in the next video. Take care.